Hi, today I'm gonna teach you how to make a horror film in under 6 minutes using only this crap. Here we go. 3. Step 1. Tell a good story. They say every story's been told in Hollywood, and while that technically may be true, it's not the premise alone that makes it good. It's how that story's told. To me, a great horror film doesn't mean a movie that succeeds in scaring me. Many films can do that and still be unfulfilling and forgettable in the end. For me, a good horror film first and foremost tells a good story that happens to be scary. In Jaws, a small fishing town debates closing down its beaches at the risk of losing money in its most lucrative time of the year, July 4th, despite the fact that a killer shark hunts its beachgoers.
What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine. It's really a miracle of evolution. All this machine does is swim and eat and make little sharks, and that's all. Now, why don't you take a long, close look at this sign? Those proportions are correct.
Love to prove that, wouldn't you? Get your name into the National Geographic.
Let the Right One In is about an unlikely friendship between a boy who gets bullied at school every day and a vampire trying to find out where she'll get her next meal without drawing too much attention to herself.
Vad gör
du? Inget. Vad gör du?
Ingenting.
Bor du här eller?
Ja. Jag bor här på klätterställningen.
Visst. Men var bor du?
Bredvid dig.
Hur vet du var jag bor?
Jag kan inte bli vän med dig.
All of these movies put the story first and allow the scares to be a part of that whole rather than the entire motivation for keeping the audience interested. Step 2. Be unpredictable. Making a great horror film doesn't mean you can't have jump scares, but use them competently, not as a gimmick. For God's sake, don't make it so fucking predictable. Look at this scene from James Wan's The Conjuring 2. Now on the surface, this looks like a conventional jump scare. The scene goes quiet as the unknown threat creeps slowly towards its victim. But Wan knows this is where the audience expects the jump scare to happen, so he builds their expectation. And when the scare doesn't come, it actually amplifies their fear because they know it's coming, but they don't know when. That way, when it finally does come, the audience is caught off guard, so it's actually scary because it's unpredictable. Step 3. Be unconventional. If you have a big budget and you're hired to do a horror movie, you're more likely to be beholden to the studios to make a cookie-cutter film that doesn't explore anything new, all for the purpose of making them shit tons of money. However, not having a big budget is actually a blessing in disguise because you're forced to be creative. You're forced to be unconventional. And guess what? As long as it's good, it's still going to make a shit ton of money. Possibly even more than the horror films that don't do anything new because word of mouth will get more people to see it. Here are some honorable mentions. Yay! When you're in post, play with the color template in your film. Different colors represent different moods that establish tone. Blues represent cold, distance, loneliness.
Hello?
Red represents anger, blood, violence. Black represents the unknown, uneasiness, and discontent. Play with all that shit. And finally, music. Now we all know how huge music plays a part in movies, especially horror films. but also no music can be just as scary. So that's my rant on what I think makes good horror. Hopefully you found something useful in that. Now go out there and make your own short.
die. I don't want to die.
Why not?
I love you, but I want to live.